In this video, I will show you how to define a function and how to call it when the contract is deployed. Hello, my name is Steve Anthony, welcome on my new channel, Proof of Dev. And if you're ready, let's roll the intro. A smart contract is a kind of app that can be deployed on the blockchain and can be accessed by everyone. It looks a little bit like a main class in Java. Basically, when your contract is deployed, it means that everyone can access the function and call them. Finally, it has also a balance, which means the smart contract can send and receive Ether. Alright, so now it's time to create our first smart contract. So the first thing we're gonna do is to go here on contract and we will create a new file. We will call it my first smart contract. That's all. Now I will just define the version, so I just will go here, copy this and paste it here. After that we will create the contract. So contract my first smart contract. Alright, our contract is now defined and we can see that everything is good and the compilation is okay. So we will deploy it. As you can see, our account is now loaded with 100 Ether, and when we will click here on deploy, you can see that we have used some Ether to deploy the contract. If we look at the deployed contract area here, we can see that my first smart contract is here. So that's the first thing we need to do. Okay, so now we will try to define our first function. So to do that, we will type function like this. So we will call it my first function like this. No parameter, and then we will type public. I will explain all the public private stuff later, and then we need to indicate the returns of the function. Here we want a function that can return, for example, an int like this. And okay, so here we have the simplest form of a function, and here we want to return an int, so we will return, an int 1, for example. And that's it. We just describe our function, our first function. And here we can see there is an error. It tells us that we should define our function as pure, and I will explain this concept in another video. Just subscribe if you want to know about it. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to remove the first contract we deployed, and then we will deploy this contract again like this. And as you can see here, we have our function, and if we call this function by clicking on it, we have the int, the number 1. So by the way, it's possible to add a parameter to your function. So to do that, it's quite simple. You need to type, for example, int here, and we will call the parameter params a, and we can, if we are crazy, add another one. We're gonna call it b, and if we want, we can sum those parameters, so we just need to type a, so param a plus b. We're gonna call this function sum like this. So we will remove the previous contract here, we will deploy the new one, and as you can see, there is our function, the sum function, and we will try to add some values. So 20 plus 10 call, and as you can see, we have 30 here, so our function is working correctly. We could stop the video here, but I have some cool stuff to show you, so wait a little bit. In Solidity, it's possible to return multiple values, and to do that, you just need to add a parameter here, just after the returns. So, and this is the reason why there is an S. So you can return an int, but you can return, so I don't know, a string, for example. And to do that, we will just define string, my second return, for example. We're just gonna copy the name. And now we need to get the first return, so int my sum equals, and we will copy this like this. And if we want to return two value, we just need to replace this by this. So the first parameter here and the second one here. As you can see, there is some error here, and the reason because we need to add memory. So it's something we will discuss in another video, but for the moment we just will, instead we need to do this. But here we can see that our function, and this is the key point here, our function can return two parameters, the first one and the second one. Now we will try to test it. So we just clear, and then we will deploy it. And as you can see, we have our function here with two parameters. We will define the first one at 5 and the second at 10, and we will call it. And as you can see, there is two parameters here. The first one is the sum here, and the second one is the text. So yeah, great news, it worked. Okay, so now if we want to go a little bit deeper, we can also name our return. So for example, we want to name this one R1 and the second one R2. And the interesting thing is that you can remove this and just type R1 here and R2 here. And now we will deploy it. And we will call this one like this. And as you can see, we have both value here. The R1 here is 15, like the sum here. And the R2 is still here, my second return. So it's a pretty convenient use if you want to return a lot of value. But there is more, and I will show you. Now, if you want to use this function in another function, I will show you how to do it. So we will need to define another function, so we will call this function test, for example. And we will make this one public, like this. It's a pure function, and we will return an int, for example. Okay. So to call the sum function, we just need to type sum. And we will put two parameters like 10 and 5. And if we want to get the result, we just need to type it like this. Like this. So the first parameter is an int, so R1, result 1. And the second one is a string, so result 2. And we will return the result 1. And here it's returns, not return. And here we need to add memory. So we will try to deploy this function. To do that, we clear everything, we deploy. And as you can see, we have the test function, and we will call it. And as you can see, the result is 15. So you have successfully retrieved the two results of the sum function, which is pretty cool. Now, I just want to show you that it's possible to call the sum function in another way. So we will start by copying this function, like right here. And we will call it test1. So, as you can see, the sum function has two parameters. And if you want to call it in a different way, you can do this like this. And here we just need to type param a like this. And here it's b. So we can do this like this if we want. Now we will try to see if it works. So we clear the deployed contract, and we will deploy the new one. like this. So we have our new function here, the test1, and if we call it, as you can see, we have 15. Depending of the situation, you can have to call a function like this. So if you see a function called in this way, it's normal. It's just, you know, it's the solidity way. Alright, so it's already finished for this video, and I hope it was interesting and you learned a lot of stuff. If this was the case, do not hesitate to let me a little comment on the video. If you have any question, you can ask me also. In the next video, I will talk to you about constant and immutable. So if you could be interested by this, take a look at the playlist. It was Steve Anthony. Have a good day and see you next time.